Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles, and quite an exciting video for me. I'm looking forward to doing this one. This is a Tamiya kit, as you can see, of the Mercedes-Benz C11. It is an RC kit, and it's one that I've wanted to do for quite a while. Came out a couple of years ago, and unfortunately they sold out so quickly I missed them, and they've just come back into stock, so I couldn't resist in grabbing one, and really looking forward to building this one. It's such a beautiful car, and having seen the reviews of how good the chassis is, it should be quite a good one. Now I'm going to split the video into three sections. So this video we'll just do a little bit about the car and what's in the box and have a look what's in there. Second video, when I get round to it, we'll be building the chassis, and then the third one will be body and finishing it off. So this kit is a re-release. Forgive me, I'm looking down below the camera because I've got my notes hanging just below the camera there, so bear with me. There's a lot of numbers and I want to make sure I get them right. So this is re-release kit from 1990. It was originally released as 58088. Then in 2004 it re-released as 58351. This time it had a finished body. 18 years later, in 2022, released as 47484, which is this kit. That sold out so quickly, you blinked and missed it, and this is the second batch to arrive here in the UK, so I grabbed one of these. As I say, it's a Group C prototype race car. It's a successor to the C9, which was also built by Sauber. I put some pictures in here because the C9 was actually at Goodwood the other week. If you haven't seen that video, there are some clips in there of this car and various other ones as well. Built by Sauber, ran with a twin turbo Mercedes engine, and it was the first time that Mercedes decided to put their name on the car with Sauber. So it's become a bit of a legend, and the car itself is absolutely stunning in real life. And I think, having seen some shots of this kit put together, it is quite an amazing kit, which is why I wanted to do one. Now this is quite an expensive kit. It does retail about £160. There are some deals out there. I managed to get mine a little bit cheaper, but yeah, as I say, they are selling out quite quickly. Very, very popular kit. On top of that, if you are going to run it, you will need a speed controller, you will need the radio gear and the servos in there. It does come with a motor, and it's a sport tune motor, but if you want to run something clever in there, again, it's more expense if you do want to run it. So the kit itself has a composite chassis. It's two-wheel drive. It's got 3-point suspension on the rear gearbox and an oil damper on a sort of T-bar assembly. Not really sure how that goes together yet, but obviously we'll find out as going forward. Your ground clearance is adjustable. I've already mentioned the sport tune motor. It's got a ball differential in it and adjustable gear ratios, but it does come with sponge foam tyres, so I mean it's going to limit the running to indoor tracks and things if you are going to run it. So for me, I'm building this as a shelf queen. I don't think I'm actually going to run it anywhere. I just want to do the kit, so simple as that. So as I say, this video, I'm going to take this over to the bench now. Let's just have a look what's inside the box. That's all we're going to do today, and then we'll come back to it when I get some time to actually put the chassis together, and then finally to sort of finish and paint the body up and see how that goes. Yeah, so really looking forward to this one. So let's go to the bench and take a look. Well, this, as I say, is take two. So I recorded this all last night and then sat down to edit it. And because of the lights that I have around the bench and things in here, it's a very reflective box. And basically all you could see was the reflection of the lights. So gonna have another go today. See if this comes out a little bit better. Hopefully it's not too dark. So if you remember what I said last night, it's basically beautiful box art. I think this is one of the better boxes that Tamiya's done for their RC kits. As you say, 1990s Mercedes-Benz C11. On the sides we've got a little bit of information here that basically repeats what I said in the introduction. We've got the hologram sticker to say that it's a licensed Mercedes product, and at the end here, picture of the finished model. Looks stunning, absolutely stunning. And then round on the other side of the box, there's a schematic of the chassis. Now I don't know a great deal about this chassis, so I'm quite intrigued by it. It's not one that definitely not one I've built before, not one that I've investigated, so quite looking forward to building that. And then over here, as I mentioned in the introduction, these are the additional parts that you need. So you will need a battery, you will need a servo, your radio gear, and your electronic speed controller, ESC, that's there. I won't show the ends of the box because I really haven't got enough room to to move the box around. So right, so it's not a mint kit because I did lift it all out last night, so I did put it back as carefully as I could. So it's as good as mint and good as new, as they say. So lovely set of stickers. You know, this is what puts the detail into this model, and there are actually the vents and things on here and the stays on the rear wing. There are some aftermarket hop-ups that you know, give some extra detail to the body. I might investigate those and yeah, try and do this extra special. But yeah, really fantastic set of stickers there. They're going to be a bit of a challenge to put on, I think, especially around the windscreen to make it look right. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just going to put those over there. This, I spent a bit of time flicking through last night to understand what this was, but this is just the normal instructions about being careful and don't cut yourself and all the usual caveats that they put in kits these days. And then the instruction book. Now, with Tamiya instructions, I've mentioned this in one of the videos before. If you go to the back of the book, it'll give you a schematic of what's in all of the sprues, and it'll also tell you what's in each of the screw bags. Yeah, and if you go to any, I'll just pick this page in random, and obviously if you look here, you can pick out your, if you're looking for this particular screw, MA1, you then go to the back of the instructions, and when you find MA1, which is here, you can see it's in screw bag B, so it's easy to find. And all of the screw bags are actually labelled A, B and C, and you know, with the bigger kits they go on, you know, D, E, F, whatever. So there are only 3 screw bags in this one. Through the instructions, a little bit about setting up and bits and pieces that you'll need. Front subframe assembly, radio gear, servo saver, and yeah, the steering, putting it all onto the front of the tub. And then we've got the rear T-bar chassis assembly, drive shafts through the rear, and this is the ball differential assembly, oil-filled shock assembly of that, and then final assembly of the rear of the chassis. The rear wing assembly goes on, and then just finishing with your tyres, your foam tyres, put on with tape, and then cutting the body out, and gives you some guidance on how to do that, how to paint it, the colours that are required, and then, as we just saw, the decals, where all of those go. So yeah, it doesn't look a terribly complex kit, and as this retails for about £160, so it, you know, it doesn't look overly complicated and quite an expensive kit really. So let's see what you get in the box anyway. Right, I did read this out when I filmed this last night. So 5 basic rules for RC car driving. Avoid driving the car in streets and crowded areas. Whoops. Make sure that no one else is using the same frequency in your driving area. Well, when I used to race them as a kid, we used to have clothes pegs with colours on. Used to make sure that you weren't running the same frequency, but you know, at the club I was at, where always 2 people on the same frequency. It doesn't happen so much now, more with the digital controllers that are around, but when we used to have the old crystals, always 2 people on the same frequency. Disconnect the battery when not in use. That's really good advice. These batteries do get hot, especially if you're running brushless and LiPo and things. It's quite dangerous to leave them left plugged in. Fully charge the batteries and never modify the wiring. Sadly, I've modified many a wire on my RC cars over the years to get them go faster and all kinds of things. So yeah, disobeyed that one, and avoid continuous driving, where the main thing is these do get extremely hot. They're you know, they are performance kits, so yeah. Right, let's do this one first. So in this box we have a set of foam tyres. Now obviously these aren't going to last very long if you take them outside, so yeah, I mean, I'm building mine as a shelf queen, but yeah, the foam tyres there, I don't know whether you can get a aftermarket sort of rubberized version. And then in the box here we've got a set of rims. They got pretty good, and then there's the bits and pieces you need for the rear shock, the servo saver. So if you're not familiar with the servo saver, there's this little spring washer, and all it does is it separates the steering arms from the servo. So if you knock into a curb or anything, it just stops sending the shock into all the little tiny fine cogs in the servo, and prevents damage. So that's all that's for. And then we've got some nylon gears there, and I don't know what that is. There's another little gear. Oh no, there's little spacers there. I don't know what they're for, but we will find out in due course. So I'll just put these back in there. So that's the first box of bits. Right, and the second box, we have the aerial. Now, if you're running the older type, you know, frequency, I'm trying to think of the word I want, a non-digital radio, then you will need this, because you need to run the wire up inside for the aerial. If you're running digital, it's not so important now. And then let's pull all these bits out. As I say, on face value, it doesn't look like this is an awfully complicated kit for the cost of it. So screw bag A, as I said, you know, once you've identified the screw that you're looking for, you can go straight to the bag and find the part that you want. And then we've got screw bag B, which does have some of these shafts in here. Now this is probably where the money in the kit comes from, is the machining of these parts. But there's not an overly complicated assembly in there. And then screw bag C, and you can see in here we've got the damper oil and the damper spring, and a couple of other bits and pieces in there. Also in the box there's the composite parts of the chassis that form the T-bone. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like almost like a carbon fibre type finish. But it's, I mean, I know it's not carbon fibre, but it's like a composite on there. And then the Sport Tune motor and body pins. I'll pop that back in the box so I don't get a complete model. And then over here, I'll just slide these out. Put that to one side. We have the body moulding. It does look absolutely superb. Superb moulding. Really, really nice. Really nice. And obviously, you know, the way that the tooling has been undercut on here, and you know, it's just really well done, really well executed. And obviously, you see on the side here these depressions. I'm guessing maybe this just lifted off the tool, or maybe there was a collapsible core inside that allowed this to slide off of the base moulding, but I don't know. So that's the body. Just while we're on the body parts, there's the rear wing, and you see the shape of the rear wing where you've got to cut it through here. So that's the rear wing, and then here we've got the internal light clusters. So this will obviously, you'll cut these corners out, and then they drop up inside the main body to form the headlights. And then in here is the rest of the kit. So as I say, you know, on face value, it's not overly complicated, and there's not an awful lot in here. So I'm guessing it's you know, unlike some of the other kits where, you know, they release them in the tens of thousands, this one's probably not a very high volume release, hence the price is a little bit higher, because they're making fewer of them. I'm pretty sure it's not a limited edition kit, but I know it sold out very quickly last time. So as I say, anyway, there's the bathtub chassis that's in there, and we've got some suspension components there. Yeah, these are sort of, I don't know if you can make them out, the little triangle pieces here. So obviously the wishbones. Here's the rear wing, and this is one of the aftermarket parts that you can get that's actually done in a sort of carbon or machined aluminium, I think it is actually. Replacement parts, so we'll have a look at those. And then finally some other bits and pieces to make the space frame chassis that is on the front of the car. So not an overly complicated kit. I'm still looking forward to building it. It's one that I've wanted to do for a long time. So I'm going to leave that one there, and just say join me next time as we build the chassis. As I say, I'm going to do this in 3 parts. So this was just to show you what's in the box. Next one we'll build the chassis, and then finally I'll do a video on spraying up the body and finishing touches. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do have a look at some of the other videos. I've got quite a broad range of content on my channel, and you know, it's all things that interest me, and if you're like-minded, there might be something on there for you. And we'll leave this one there. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.